Hi, Brant here with MentorAPM. When we process new assets that have been collected with the mobile application for MentorLens, the next step is to have those assets sync to the main application where we can process those images for nameplate extraction or condition assessment or thermographic assessment. So wanted to quickly walk you through the process of how to do that within the main application of MentorAPM. So as we get logged into the main application, this is an example of a dashboard view. And to process new assets from the MentorLens module, we'll simply go over to our navigation menu on the left-hand side and click MentorLens. That opens up the MentorLens image gallery. And from here, you can start to see all the various assets that are queued up in the image gallery tab. Now, you also have to see, if you want to, you can search the assets and you can type in the name of the asset if you'd like. So today we're using this demo motor. So I'm going to go ahead and select that asset, and that'll filter in the image gallery all of the images that we've collected so far. And you can see each of these images have been tagged appropriately from the mobile app. And now it's time to process these images using the lens tools. So for example, how I typically do this for a new asset is I start with the nameplate. So in this example, we've got our nameplate. I'm going to go ahead and select the check mark for that image. And you might have multiple images, or in this case, we just have one. But then from there, I'm going to run the nameplate attributes to process those nameplates. Now, this typically takes anywhere from 10 to 30 seconds, depending on your bandwidth, the complexity of what the image and what it's trying to extract from that image. So we'll give this a few seconds to run. Okay, that nameplate extraction has completed. And as I scroll down, I can start to view the attributes that have been extracted from the nameplate, and these are mapped to standard attributes. And if you want to do any auditing, you also have the capability to use this the magnifying glass and hone in over the nameplate image, so you can do some spot checks. But what you typically want to do is just do a quick audit to make sure that the attribute details look good. Now, as you scroll to the bottom, you also see potential non-standard attributes that don't map into standard attributes. If you want to add these as standard, you do have an option to do that. So for example, if I wanted to add certifications as a standard attribute, you can either map that to an existing list of attributes or create a new type. So I'm going to go ahead and create new, and that'll add that to our list of standards. Now, if, for example, you see serial number and maybe a 5 was supposed to be an 8, or you want to correct anything, you also have the ability to go in and edit. So you can go in and change anything that you'd want to, make those changes, and then save those. So that's how you can go ahead and edit these attributes. Now, if everything looks good, what you can do is select the check mark on the right-hand corner above the image or images, and then hit Update Selected in Mentor. So we'll confirm that. Now that's going to push all those attributes to the attribute table within the asset record in MentorAPM. Okay, so next up, I'm going to go back to my image gallery. And in this example, we're going to now process the condition assessment. So we've got a few photos that we're going to process and stitch together. So I'm going to select those photos for condition assessment. And these are the second and third photos. Now, once I've clicked on each photo I want to process as part of the condition assessment, we'll go over to our condition assessment process, run that, and again, 10 to 30 seconds, roughly right, we'll process this condition report, and you'll see the score, the observations, recommendations, and all the inspection elements and the associated confidence ratings for each inspection element score. Okay, so that's now complete. So now if I scroll down, you can see the 3 images that this score was produced, and the AI tools stitched these images together and came back with a condition assessment score of 2, observed issues, recommended actions. Based on these inspection elements, the scores for each one of these elements, the confidence for each element, etc. So if I scroll down, I can do a spot check review. If I like what I see, we can go ahead and click the checkbox and then update to save this as a report over to the asset record within MentorAPM. Now, if you don't like what you see, you also have the ability to go ahead and reprocess. So you can add in feedback for a reassessment and then have this rerun. We'll skip that for this demo. So I'm going to go ahead and save this over, and that'll process to the asset register record for this asset. And then now I'm going to go back to my image gallery for this asset. And the last step is, if you're running thermography, we can associate a thermographic image or images. And in this example, we'll go ahead and select the image, click thermal assessment. And in this example, we'll enter in the number of days that needs to be processed between the last assessment. This is optional, or hours. So we use 30 days as an example, and we can go ahead and get that process through. And again, 10 to 30 seconds, depending on bandwidth, that'll create a report for the thermographic image. And that will come back with some baseline, any anomalies, any recommendations, etc. Okay, so that assessment's completed. You do have an opportunity to go in and review, look at all the components and details of that report, recommended actions, etc. Again, if I like what I see, we'll select the green highlighted update selected, and Mentor will illuminate, confirm, and now that's going to save that record to the record. Now, I do have the ability to download these reports right from here, or if I click on the highlighted asset name, and let's go back to our homepage for MentorAPM in the image gallery. So again, we were working on the demo motor. If I look at my processed results, you can select show new results only. You also have the ability to filter by different types of process types, or you can view everything. Now in this example, I've got my thermal assessment. We can look at our nameplates and what was extracted from the nameplate image. We can look at, there's also a configuration that we're just recently releasing around cost estimation, and that's where you could view the cost estimates, as well as the condition assessment. So here's where all those reports and capabilities are that we process through. Now, when I click, because we've updated all that information to save to the asset record, if I click on the demo motor asset name, that'll take us to the asset record within MentorAPM. So here we see the name of the asset, the description. We can see our condition scores if we've ran the condition assessment. Within the record, you also have the ability to look at where those attributes are saved within the attribute table. And these are all the nameplate attributes that we captured from the nameplate image. We also have the ability to look at all the attachments. So from here, we can look at the photo gallery view, and these are the images so far that we've captured for this asset, and you can see those, as well as the reports. So here's an example of the report for a condition assessment, and this is saved as a PDF. You can see the images, the attributes from the nameplate, the inspection scores and confidence ratings based on each element, observations, recommended actions. So that's an example of the report. Same thing with the thermal report. If we open up the thermal report, so this is the PDF. Now from here, you do have the ability to save these at the attachment level. You can print those PDF reports, or we can ship those off to a different asset management tool, or a number of different things we can do with those reports downstream. But at a high level, all that information from MentorLens is now saved, processed against the asset record within the asset register. Now, to get to that asset register from our Lens onboarding dashboard view, we've highlighted that under favorites, and you can go into the asset register and see a list of all the assets that have been collected. And then from there, to get back into the details of the asset record, you select view record, and that'll take you back into that asset record like we showed. So a couple different ways to get into the asset record, one from the MentorLens module, or one from the dashboard view from your homepage. And if anytime you get lost within the application, it's very easy. Just click the homepage. That'll bring you back to the Lens onboarding tab. And from here, we have the quick links into the various aspects of the application. Hopefully that was useful. If you're running any snags, if you have questions, reach out to Brant. We'll help you along the way. Thanks, everybody.